Hello everyone, welcome to another live protocol video. So on this video we're going to be talking about the INTP personality type and focusing more on the dark side of their brilliant minds. So for me to reference brilliant minds is not a mere accident. It's because the INTP, if you know a little bit of MBTI or type, you will undoubtedly know that INTPs are regarded as one of the most brilliantly intelligent, IQ-like most intelligent type of all the 16. And there's good reason for that, because they actually really are very capable and they're very attuned into going very deep into thought and remaining there for a long period of time. That's what basically differentiates them from all the other types. Their capacity for insight, their capacity for remaining for a long period of time in thought. But if they specialize so much on that side of the equation, we have to wonder what happens to the other side of the spectrum. If they are so good at rationalizing everything, of using, okay, let's call it the scientific method of searching for empirical evidence for everything, they have to lack when it comes to belief and faith in the metaphysical, in the supernatural. I know that INTPs are very open-minded and they have no trouble whatsoever in delving deep into the supernatural, but they really are looking for something concrete to hold on to, and that's where their dark side can start to manifest. Another facet of INTPs that I find intriguing is that they may become a little bit snobbish at times with their intellect. They do know that they are above average when it comes to IQ and intelligence. When you see it that way, that type of intelligence, don't get me wrong, there's many types of intelligence. But INTPs may start to feel like society is not sophisticated enough, because they see other people there that in their minds they believe are their intellectual inferiors, right? And they see those people becoming way more successful than they are, because let's face it, INTPs do have trouble when it comes to implement their ideas, when it comes to getting out there in the world and actually doing something concrete, because mostly they live inside their heads when they're unhealthy. And I really want to emphasize that, because there's the healthy version of an INTP and there's the unhealthy version of an INTP. So this video and all I'm talking about, it refers to the unhealthy version of the INTP. So they can actually start believing that many jobs are beneath them, are beneath their capacity. So they may end up refusing to partake in those jobs. But I'm giving away way too much from the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you love the show.
The INTP dark side. We all have a dark side, and for INTPs, the dark side can be particularly troublesome. INTPs are analytical and logical people, who often find themselves questioning everything around them. This can lead to a lot of critical thinking, and sometimes that critical thinking can go too far. In this video, we will explore the dark side of the INTP personality type, discuss some of the negative aspects of being an INTP, and offer advice on how to deal with them. We will also examine why they may act out in detrimental and nihilistic ways. If you know about type, or specifically about INTPs, then you've certainly heard about their intellectual prowess. They are not considered the most intellectual type by chance, they are indeed one of the most robust types regarding raw mental capacity. Their capacity for insight, analysis, and imagination is unmatched, but we have to wonder what is being sacrificed on the other side of the spectrum. If there's something I learned about people, even before I knew about type, is that no one can be good at everything, and that raises a question. If INTPs are so good at rationalizing and being objective, how does that affect their humanistic side? How do they experience morality, romanticism, and religious dogmatism? And here is where we can find their dark side, in the connection, or lack thereof, to other people, faith/belief, or even to life itself. But before we dive into darker and perilous waters, let's take a gander at how INTPs behave in their healthy or optimal side. The healthy INTP. When INTPs are healthy, they use their open-mindedness to try to find new ways of looking at problems that often other people overlook. Their secondary function of NE, or extroverted intuition, acts like an idea generator, but not the run-of-the-mill simple solutions to simple problems. Extroverted intuition's main function is to inject novelty and originality into the world. Take for example the other NE high users, INFPs, ENFPs, and ENTPs. They are the most original and unconventional types. Well, it turns out that INTP's secondary NE ends up having a massive impact on their ability to come up with unorthodox theories and concepts. This makes INTPs very innovative whilst being logical, creating the massive potential to not only think of novel ideas or come up with solutions to problems that are actually bound to logic. INTPs have TI, or introverted thinking, as their dominant function. This means they are razor-sharp truth-seeking machines. INTPs know all too well the dangers of leaving faulty logic unchecked. Introverted thinking deconstructs. It looks for the whys of everything. It wants to decipher the most basic elements of how things work, from how a clock works, to the inner workings of a star. At their best, INTPs are eternally curious, open-minded, and original, possessing a tremendous capacity for imagination. But this fierce determination to understand and absorb knowledge is what can drive them down dangerous paths. INTPs need to be careful of how far down the rabbit hole they go. Human capacity for comprehension is very limited. And when INTPs can't find the solution to something they personally consider to be of great importance, they can start to spiral out of control. The INTP dark side. When INTPs are seized by their darker side, they may become detached from reality, failing to conjure up the motivation to join the rest of society. They become even more analytical than normal. That means they stagnate and have trouble advancing beyond the computation or investigation phase, thus moving forward or coming to any sort of conclusion becomes increasingly difficult. Very unhealthy INTPs may develop an intellectual superiority complex that completely works against them. They see their supposedly intellectually inferior fellow humans succeed and progress through life, while they stagnate. This causes them tremendous frustration. They may start believing the world is unfair, too dumb, or too unsophisticated to acknowledge their genius. Well, putting the blame on the world and not taking responsibility accomplishes nothing. It's a road that leads nowhere. Actually no, this road can lead to different paths, but none of them are good. It branches out and transforms into detachment from humanity, unhealthy perfectionism, and nihilism. When INTPs become too reliant on logic or rationale, they may go too deep into uncharted and dangerous territory, trying to find impossible answers to impossible problems. And that is why INTPs, or anyone for that matter, should come to grasp that there's much more going on in the universe than what we can prove empirically. Belief and faith also have their role to play. The good news is that INTPs are naturally open-minded, and as long as they are willing to give the metaphysical a chance, there will be always hope. INTPs possess tremendous potential. They can be the pioneers that enlighten mankind into brave new ways of thinking, that are always bound to truth, honesty, and justice. But it's also important to acknowledge that yes, the scientific method is of great importance, but it's not everything. My personal advice to INTPs is to realize there's so much more than what meets the eye. I believe most INTPs think the unknown is just something we haven't found the answer, solution, or explanation to, yet. But to that I say, don't close yourself to the possibility of the supernatural. Reality is stranger than fiction, and our feeble senses cannot possibly fathom the complexities and strangeness of our universe. For example, we can explain how gravity works, but we cannot explain how it was designed, or have any type of certainty about why it works the way it does. That is why it's so important to accept the strange, fantastic, bizarre, and unconventional is really the only way to go. Believing that nothing else exists besides what we can perceive through the limited spectrum of our senses is not just simply completely wrong, it's also the fastest way to propel oneself into a self-created black hole.
If you liked the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. That will allow us to keep making more videos like this. For more related content, please click on one of the suggested videos. Thank you for watching.